Hey there, what's up? It's Phil with the first of what I hope are many episodes of Pop Philosophy. Did you like that name? I'm a little full of myself, aren't I? But it's okay. I like it. I like it. Pop Philosophy. If it's too cheesy, you let me know. And it's kind of an extension of Random Thoughts, which I've posted on the channel a couple times. And I was like, where's Random Thoughts really going? And then I realized it's going towards what I like to do, which is just comment on stuff. So you're going to get a little bit of Phil's brain here and what I think about a lot of things. And usually I focus more on pop culture. Sometimes politics creeps in there, actually, a lot of times, but I've settled down a lot because, guys, it's so wacky. It's not even fun anymore to debate politics because it's just all so wacky. So I'd rather stay in the pop culture world, but even in the pop culture world, there's a lot of politics going on, a lot of things that freak me out. So I will be talking about that. In fact, on this episode, we'll be talking a little bit about what's up with MCU and the black characters that always get shortchanged, shows getting canceled after Emmy nominations, with Marvel Man and all this stuff. So we will be talking a little bit about that. But I also will invite you to check out this channel here. It's called Pop Club. And I do it with Eduardo, my boyfriend, my partner. And he's a very creative dude. Also, he's more on the artistic side. He draws and does all this stuff, fashion and all that. And but I kind of pulled him into the communication side slowly but surely. I'm pulling him to this side. So we do this podcast together. We just started the channel. I think we just hit 300 subscribers. We do this live every Sunday. Some Sundays we're out, like this Sunday, I think we're going to go out. So we might record it tonight and post it on Sunday. And it's called Cafe Pop. And guess what? It's so freaky, but it's true, guys. If you click on these videos, you'll see that they come out in English. So you can actually listen to it in English if you happen to be coming here from the Brazil Expat Journal. Yeah, and it freaked me out at first. Let me see if I can get it to do. Oh, we got some prints over there. But you can either practice
Rolando
your
na
Portuguese
cultura
or.
pop, ultimamente tem muita coisa rolando,
Oh, this one
mas o
doesn't have it.
assunto
But the last
principal
one, I swear, it was freaky. It had my voice in like AI English, and I was like, oh my God, this is bizarre. So, Cafe Pop, we will talk about a topic for about 30 minutes, and then at the end, Eduardo comes on with the news. But, guys, I wanted to talk to you today about this, right? Black led MCU projects that have been shelved. And Marvel Studios is facing significant scrutiny and backlash over its handling of black led projects, with several major initiatives being shelved, canceled, or indefinitely delayed. So we have Blade. Blade, I gave up on. I was like, man, that's never gonna happen. Okay, the reboot starring Marshala Ali was announced in 2019, but it's in development hell. He moved on from the project, right? And I don't blame him. He's got his own career. He's got an Oscar. You think you want to work with somebody that just won an Oscar? Halle Berry, you know, and keep their career going. It's so funny. I mean, an Oscar doesn't guarantee you anything, regardless whether you're white or black, and you win an Oscar doesn't mean you're guaranteed work. But it's amazing how some black actors don't always get something after their Oscar, or they have to do a whole lot before they get their first Oscar, or they do a whole lot, Miss Angela Bassett, and don't get an Oscar. They get that honorary Oscar, or Spike Lee. But anyway, that's a whole other topic, right? Wonder Man, starring Yahya Abdul Mateen II. The series premiered to critical acclaim and was greenlit for a second season in March 2026. However, Disney and Marvel unexpectedly canceled the show in July 2026, despite contracts being signed and scripts for season 2 already written. Like, what's going on, Disney? We got Armor Wars. I never heard of this one until I looked it up now. This was originally a Disney Plus series starring Don Cheadle as James Rhodes. A project was converted to a film and then removed from the Marvel slate entirely. Now, this, I think, was some real BS because that was a popular character when those Iron Man movies were coming out. And they had a real opportunity to make something out of that, like a little spin off. Same with like Black Widow. Like they make a Black Widow movie like after she's dead, like 10 years after, Avengers are at their peak. Who's gonna go see that in the middle of COVID, or was it pre or post COVID? I think that was post, not during. I don't know, but man, how they shortchange black people in the MCU and women too. But we'll be talking about that on Sunday about the women. But here I want to focus on my brothers. What's going on with the brothers? Disney, what's going on? Star Wars, anybody? What's going on? Remember Star Wars? How they shortchanged our man? Finn, is that his name? Completely. Forgot the actor's name now, sorry. Uh, and yeah, it seems like it's a pattern here, right? Like he was supposed to be like one of the main guys, and then all of a sudden he's not. So what's going on there, Disney? Talk to me about that. Uh, we have Armor Wars. Yeah, we talked about that. Captain America, New World Order. Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson has been reportedly sidelined. Of course he's going to be sidelined because everybody wants Steve Rogers. Okay, and that's an issue with Disney in the MCU too. And we talked about that quite a bit on the show, is how they push stuff that isn't as popular as the original. And guys, nobody's going to be as popular as the original Steve Rogers Captain America. It's just a fact, right? And then they push like the secondary versions of, and they're secondary versions of everything, guys. This is just part of the comic world, which is silly when people get upset because, oh my God, he's a black Captain America. Guys, read a comic book. Like, there's multiple versions. There's evil versions of people. There's female. There's green, black. It's comic books. It's fantasy. There's different versions of everybody. But that doesn't mean that, it isn't niche. That still doesn't mean that isn't niche. So that's another way, actually, that Marvel also shortchanges its black actors, because it puts them in these roles, pushing them as if they're the major version of the hero, and it's not, and then they fall flat on their ass. It's like things need to get really popular. Like, for example, Miles Morales, right? Which only really kind of got popular after some time, I feel. He lasted a while. It was written by a white guy for a long time, and then they finally got some black writers in there. But I remember backlash against Miles Morales when he first came out, by white folks, because they're always there crying about, how they're offended by anything black that they see, right? That's outside the norm. And what do you call it? It took a while. It took a while for him to come up. Like, I'll be honest with you, never read Miles Morales comic books, although I appreciated the character. Would see like bits and pieces of like little slides from the comic book, and I always thought they were cute, they were cool, and nice character. Eventually, they got black writers in there, although I hear that for the What If they didn't, which is kind of bizarre. And you got the animated movie, which is beautiful, but it was a build up to get to sell Miles Morales to folks. Unfortunately, guys, it's a business. You got to be able to sell to white folks if you want to make money too. And white folks are finicky when they see white, things that don't fall into like the white gaze. So it's tough, Disney. If you really want to do it right, you got to do everything like Miles Morales. If you want to introduce a black Captain America, even with Black Panther, which arguably is one of the most popular MCU characters that is black, right? Other than Storm and stuff, stuff from the X-Men. And even with him, they had to drip drop. Because for the casual fan like me, I'm a super casual Marvel fan. Like, I think I might have heard that, the name Black Panther once or twice, but like I had no clue who he was. Like Wakanda, all that. Because I'm reading DC comics growing up. Sorry, guys. So Marvel doesn't even understand that, it seems sometimes. Or it does when it wants to. Like they did it with Black Panther. They even did it with Spider-Man, which I thought was necessary in the beginning because they just had two Spider-Man movies that critics really didn't like. Neither did the audiences, and kind of flopped. So, hey, are we just going to introduce a Spider-Man movie like boom? No, they had to build up to it. I mean, I thought it took a little bit too long. Finally, they got the message that, hey, we don't need like Daddy Stark or Daddy anybody taking care of Peter Parker. But seems like they got it for that. But then every once in a while, it seems like they forget like basic business practice. Other shelved projects in Oki. I don't know who the hell that is. Centered Series was canceled. I told you I'm a casual fan, guys. During development, Ironheart I had heard of. Yes, that's the little black girl who is wears the Iron Man stuff. She showed up in Wakanda Forever, I believe. She faced severe marketing suppression delays despite being well received. Yeah, yeah. Well, we know what that's about. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur also ended after 2 seasons, and Monica Rambeau's future remains unclear following her disappearance from recent promotional cycles. Critics argue that while Black Panther remains a financial success, Marvel fails to sustain a momentum for other black led stories, often shelving them for theatrical resets or due to internal strategic shifts post Secret Wars. So, guys, Marvel Studios is always like, it seems like it's always having this issue, right? But Marvel's is owned by Disney. And the issue for me is Disney. Disney just has always had something weird about it. Like I tell you, even growing up, now this is Phil going into Phil, like philosophy now. Now you get Phil's brain here. Let me put this light a little closer to me here. But yo, even growing up, I was not a big fan of Disney. I never really dug them. Yeah, did I watch some of the movies? How can you not? Like, Disney is just ubiquitous, it is everywhere. And yeah, they come out with some good products sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I like some of those Disney movies. Okay, who doesn't? But something about this company, even growing up, I'm glad I'm a bit intuitive because I always felt there's something up about this company. Like nobody's this happy all the time, right? And you're charging people a whole lot of money to come down to your park just to be happy. So I'm not getting what's going on with Disney even as a child. And another thing I wasn't getting about Disney is there's a lot of white kids in these movies. Like always white kids, white kids, white kids. To a point where, and I've spoken about this on the Brazil Expat Journal, growing up in the 90s as a black kid, you are fed a lot of negative images of black people. I was, right? In fact, right now I'm watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine again, and I'm explaining to Eduardo. He's like, oh my God, how come nobody ever talks about a Star Trek that's led by a black man who's a single father? And I'm like, well, why do you think? And why do I love this series as much as I do? Because it portrays a black man in 1993 taking care of his son. And, he's responsible and this and that. He's got to do all this stuff. And he's a good father at the end of the day. That's really important. Guys, Disney very rarely sent that messaging out, even through the 90s. Okay? It's not that it was like openly racist towards black people. There will always be the friendly black neighbor. There was always those shows, Family Ties, the sitcom stuff. Okay, ABC, I say part of Disney, right? So those family shows on ABC. But serious drama stuff, just like a black lead to carry franchises, whatever, not that many. Not that many, unless you count the Goofy movie, right? So I was never attracted to it. I was just never attracted. There was already something in me that never attracted me to that. But at the same time, it poisoned my mind. Because for a very long time, as I said, as I was about to say, I've said on my channel, I used to be kind of racist towards my own, myself. Why? Because I'm fed. What is an image of beauty? What is an image of beauty? From like 10 years old to like 15, 16 years old. What is the image of beauty? If you're growing up from 1990, I guess I was 10 in 1991. I was born in 81. So from 1991 till 1995, 96, what do you think I thought was the perfect boy? Right? Blonde haired, blue eyed, skinny nose, thin lips. Because that's what Disney was feeding me. That's what media was basically feeding people. And unfortunately, like, God bless their souls, my parents never really pushed that other side that much. So I get it. I get it. Totally get why that happened. And then I just started going to Philadelphia as a teenager, like my mind. Boop, okay. That changed quickly. But getting back to this, Disney for me I've never felt it was a place for black folks. I'll just be honest with you. It's like, it seemed like it was this imaginary place where all white kids are free to be like really nice to black people. Like, That's the image that I got. It's just like nice white people that invite black people to their party or their house, but it's not a place for black people. You get what I'm saying? You know, right? And at the same time, it just felt very much produced. So it's not a place that I could trust. Again, this is just intuition. Like now I'm kind of getting what that intuition was as an adult. I can look back and say that's what it was. But it's just something, because I was an awkward kid, guys. One, I was a queer kid, right? Because you know, since you know, if you're queer. Two, black, but black kid who dug, rock and roll, dug stuff that was supposed to be like at the time. I thought rock and roll was white culture. Then I woke up, but but I liked a little bit of everything. I'm a Trekkie. I just spent 2 minutes talking about Star Trek out of the blue. Um, so my vision of the planet has always been humanity, but I couldn't help but notice that I was treated a little bit different or asked questions more because of some of my taste and some of the stuff clothes that I wore and stuff like that. And so I've always been kind of outside a little bit, just myself. And so Disney never attracted me because Disney for me felt very conservative. And that's another thing that I don't get about how many gay people and black people and all these people supporting Disney. Disney's always been like a conservative company for me. Like I've never seen it as anything other than. That's why I think I was just drawn to the what do you call it, Looney Tunes and all that stuff growing up because Looney Tunes was wild. It was crazy, and I was like, okay, that's closer to like how I see the world in drag. Bugs Bunny in drag. I remember putting on my sister's shoes when she was at the house when I was like 10, 11. Okay, um, and again, not because I felt I was a woman, because it was fun. It was funny. It was this, and no disrespect for people that actually do it because they feel they are in the wrong body. But I'm just talking about myself. It was just something wacky to do because I saw Bugs Bunny do it. So maybe he did influence me a little bit. Bad influence for kids. But that's the spirit that I've always had. And I always felt Disney had the opposite spirit. Disney was when I wanted to just be like, oh, what a BS fantasy world this is where the princess always finds the prince. Like I didn't believe that when I was little. I loved the Little Mermaid, but that's because I thought it was cool to be a mermaid. I used to like go, oh my god, this is like I said, this is mind the fill. All right, I'm trying to add more content to this channel other than the Brazil Expat Journal, which is on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Check it out. When I was little, guys, I used to lay on the ground, with my feet kind of together and just kind of do this and try to go from one side of the room to the other. Not try, I would actually do it. Imagine I was a mermaid. This must have been like first or second grade because I was still in my sister's house. And when we moved to America, we were living in my sister's house. And I remember doing it in her basement, which was carpeted, watching The Little Mermaid, right? So that's what I'm watching for because I wanted to be a mermaid or a merman or whatever. Not because, oh my God, I'm going to find my Prince Charming one day. It's a fake reality. I always thought it was, and how they treat people in reality. Like Boyega, that's his name, right? Boyega, who they pushed up his fin and they get a little bit of resistance. China says, hey, we don't like monkey. And then you take him off the poster in China. You write him out the story pretty much. You give him a romance with this Asian girl in the second movie and then cut him out. You had a possibility of having something queer going on with Poe and Finn, which is totally, taken out in the next couple movies. What's going on with Disney? That's all I ask. That's why I don't support Disney like that. Like, yeah, am I probably going to see Doomsday? Pretty much, yeah. I think everybody's going to watch Doomsday. But I may watch it from home. I don't know. I may watch it from home. Like I did Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I might go see it in the movies still. But it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Even though that's Sony. But still, it's all kind of... It all blends into each other, all these mega companies. So who knows? So why are I challenge why give so much money to Disney? Why take the kids to Disney? Like I would just never do it. I never had the desire to growing up to go to Disney. I went to Six Flags a couple times. I love Six Flags. But I never had it in me. I think for our graduation, there was a trip to Disney. It was expensive, I will admit. So a little bit was like money. We just didn't have like, what was it, like $1,000 or however much it was, because you had to pay for the trip, the hotel, blah blah blah. And we were, working class family. I didn't feel like asking my parents for $1,000, $2,000 just to go down to Florida to go to Disney. So I pretended, my parents are lovely people, by the way. I did say they didn't talk too much. That, human beings, guys. They just had that little gap where they didn't really know how to talk. And they came from a generation where maybe it wasn't, they never even had those talks about race and queerness and this and that and the third. I get it, okay? Um, but I'll tell you this, they love me. And I'm sure that if I had cried, they would have figured out some way to get me down to Disney for my graduation trip. Trust me. But I just kind of use that as an excuse to not even ask. Um, yes, I'm just going down, this article here to see all the different people that have been shelved. Um, you know, and even if you get into, there's a little bit on Miles Morales. Even if you did get into, what's the word? Wakanda Forever, Suri, right? I mean, then they're getting the female character and then they're shortchanging her too, because now they're gonna have like the little kid at the end of the movie is gonna be grown up now, which okay makes sense. You want to have the regular Black Panther, but she was good in that movie. They should do something with her, either as a series or something like that. I don't know, Disney. It's like you seem like when you do have stuff that lands, you don't ride with it. And guys, this is just a little, going back. There's a lot of racial stereotypes. I just put this on Google, guys. Fact check it. Go. I've seen all these movies. I totally get it. It's the reason why I'm not into these movies that much. I like the ideas of these movies. Dumbo is the animation is pretty. Peter Pan. I prefer the movie Hook, but it's a cool little movie. I always fall asleep. I always fall asleep in these movies. Lady and the Tramp. Again, like the idea of it. There's some cute scenes, but it just didn't feel like it was something made for me. Let's just put it that way. The Jungle Book, another one. Although I do like the live action, I thought was made, but I always used to fall asleep. I've never sat through Mary Poppins. Again, fall asleep. Okay, maybe I'm too crazy. Maybe it's not a black white thing. Maybe I'm just too crazy for Disney. Fantasia, beautiful animation. I'll fall asleep. Song of the South, I know the movie. I think they glorified plantation. Yes, I've seen clips of it, and it's cringeworthy. Mickey's Melodrama feature Milky Mouse and blackface. That's interesting. Oh my gosh, should I click on that? Ooh, let me see. I've never seen. I want to see what Mickey Mouse looks like in blackface. This image is not available. Oh, nothing's available here. Oh, I guess that's him in blackface. I don't know. Yeah, guys, Disney is I don't know. It's just something that for me has always been kind of shady. And then when they do put, black characters in, they're usually, the best friend, or it'll be like some sanitized version. Like, God, that movie Pocahontas, I saw that in the theater. You know, I love my girl, Vanessa Williams, okay? And I love that song, "The Colors of the Wind," and that's about it. That's about all I like about anything dealing with Pocahontas. And the way they just sanitized history, man. Disney is too much, man. Disney is too much. And then I was talking to Eduardo, in fact, a couple weeks ago, I think, on the podcast Cafe Pop, about how I don't like the Princess and the Frog, because well, how are you gonna give me my first black princess direct to video? Like you don't trust your characters, right? I was talking the same with that movie Soul. You give me a black led Pixar movie, and guess what? You kill the character off, like right away. What's going on, Disney? Believe in your black characters, please. Here they're giving a whole bunch of examples of, Disney, I never even. Now I'm gonna look for this. The black fish. I remember that black fish, but I didn't remember him calling the fish black fish. But yes, it's very 1930s racist caricature of black people with those big, thick lips like that. How German citizens are depicted the hyenas, and sometimes they go a little bit too much. But I guess they're saying they're Hispanic and black actors that voiced those hyenas. But that's just the way Disney plays it. I mean, it's just they play on stereotypes, guys. Disney for me has always been a conservative company. Okay, it has always been a conservative company. And then when you do get like here, I just put openly gay characters in Disney productions. Okay, and here they're putting some on the list, but I think it's more striking if you go here because you see visually, right? First off, it's gay if you didn't blink. That's the first thing, right? Because this is news to me. They did a same-sex headbutt kiss, whatever. But you'll notice something about this list very quickly, all right? We got the first openly gay teen romance in Strange World. Oh, very cute. Okay, nobody saw this movie, by the way. That's the first thing you'll notice. We get this teen lesbian couple. We got this girl. Okay, again, Lightyear got a lot of flack for having a little kiss, like tiniest thing. But again, side character that appears for very little. Apparently, I will admit, I had zero interest in watching Lightyear. We got first lesbian superhero. Okay, Doctor Strange. I remember kind of, was she lesbian? Guys, I'm trying to remember that these people are lesbian. All right, we got this High School Musical gay song. We got Cruella. We got this white gay dude. Oh, what do you know? A black man. Finally. First gay superhero in MCU. He does create the atomic bomb. And he does kind of disappear for most of the movie. But, they do show that he's got a family. Great. But again, nobody saw this movie. And he wasn't the main character. And then we got Jungle Cruise. Great. White guy. Whatever that is. Oh, a 30, no, a point 0.3 second kiss in Star Wars. More lesbians. Black at least. Oh, the guy that was crying at Avengers game. I think, did they reveal that she was actually bisexual in Love and Thunderbird? Again, black woman. Another white dude. Another white boy. And some rabbits. They don't look white to me. Or it's a rabbit and a antelope? Whatever. Guys, you notice something about these characters? So especially black gay dudes. They are not riding for you. Disney is not riding for you. Disney has never rode for you. And I would submit that, in fact, Disney's not riding for black people, period. I mean, when it comes to like representation, queer representation, all that stuff down in those Disney parks is white, gay liberals. I'm going to say it because that's how I feel. If you disagree, just be respectful about it. But that's what it is. And white gay liberals, guys, there's this misnomer that like just because they're gay, they're going to not be racist. You don't know how much racism there is in the gay world, especially down here in Brazil. I live in Brazil. It's even worse down here, but I'm sure it's bad in the U.S. too. Man, I remember there was this gay club at the time here in São Paulo. They have their go-go dancers and everything. It's an adult club. And when they had the black night, they always like to have black night. They had the guy inside of a cage. They never have people inside cages. Like they brought out the cage for like the black go-go dancer. Like I was like, come on, Brazil. And that's just tip of the iceberg when it comes to racism in Brazil. So that is a misnomer that white queer people are allies to black folks. And if you're a straight black dude, you're triply effed, right? Because you got everybody against you, like black women against you. White women may not like you. Queer people don't. Nobody likes a heterosexual gay dude. And I would submit that, including Disney, okay? And that's why they don't push you, okay? Black Panther is enough, okay? Black Panther is cool, but for me, it's not a pattern. It's part of the culture. And they can dress it up. and they can do their queer baiting. I mean, Disney is the master at queer baiting. And for those that don't know, what is queer baiting? It's when you put somebody that is queer coded. So again, I got straight people that listen to me. What does it mean to be coded? Okay, it's like if I played a character that I kind of talk like this, and I mean, I don't know what is a stereotypical gay dude. Like, oh, and that last Madonna album was so cool, guys. It was like unbelievable. Like every time that you see me on screen, I'm talking about Madonna. Oh, and did you see that? But you never actually show my personal life. You never actually show me with a girl or a guy. You never actually show me having a life outside of like the guy that comes into the office and says something funny about Madonna every time that he shows up. I'm queer coded. It's not confirmed that I'm queer, but he sure as hell seems like it, right? So Disney are the masters at this. They love to queer code, and they've done it forever. They love to also do the same with black. I don't know if is there a black coding. I don't know if that exists, but where they kind of push the black character just a little bit, just to pique your interest, but then they pull back. They do this all the time. There's interesting black characters in the Marvel universe, guys. I mean, they can't even get Storm right. Is it that difficult? I mean, I love you, Halle Berry, and I love your Storm. I mean, despite how much it sucks compared to like what Storm's supposed to be, I still love you. Uh, is it? Is she too intense? Is she too angry black woman for you, Disney? That you can't push the actual Storm? I mean, go back and watch that '90s cartoon guys and that voice actress. You know, if you know her name, put it in the comments, cause I don't. I forgot, guys. That I love that cartoon, but it's confusing too. Um, but that actress, that Storm, that's the few times that I did read Marvel comics was X-Men comics because Storm, I love her, right? Who doesn't? And at one point, she was the leader of the X-Men. She's not a side character. She's like the main character, plenty of times. But Disney can't push her. Like you're treating Storm like she's like a third, fourth tier, like down the line as far as hierarchy in the X Men. So yeah, we'll find somebody. No, that should be your priority. It's like priority for me in casting, of course, Magneto and Professor X. That's a given. Wolverine, that's a given. And then Storm. And those two are not even like Wolverine and then Storm or Storm and like together. Like that's the level. Okay? And I think most X Men fans would agree. They would not say, Phil, you've lost your marbles or you just want to have more representation. No. She's a badass character, man. Even if they were a white woman, like a white character or whatever. Like, Storm is just the best, right? So, but Disney can't do it. Disney doesn't know how to, or Disney doesn't want to. Now, I mean, hopefully it gets better. Hopefully, I can watch this video in a year or two and be like, oh, finally, Disney's like pushing its characters. Disney is treating its minor characters in the Marvel universe with some more respect and maybe feeding us them slowly, getting us to fall in love with them. You're not, sabotage, because that's a form of sabotage too, guys. I'm sorry. And again, some of you may disagree with me. I don't care. It's my show. Just be respectful in the comments. But I think that putting something into the market and treating it like it's on the same level as in Iron Man or Hulk or something like that is sabotage a little bit, right? And not even if you say, oh, but it's a TV show, it's a series like She-Hulk or something like that. Yeah, but it's still a commitment that somebody needs to make to a character in a show once a week. They're putting money down or whatever if they're buying the subscription or if they're going to the movies or something that they don't even know. And you took a risk with Guardians of the Galaxy. It worked, but that's a team movie, which works a little. It's a little bit easier because you have many characters to focus on. If one doesn't work, you don't want to switch them out, but you can add other characters. There's things you can do a little bit. There's more flexibility introducing something new when it's a team effort, team of superheroes. But you're telling me I got to focus on this one dude I ain't never heard of before and pay like $60, whatever, 40, however much it is to go to the movies these days in the US. It's about 40 reais down here in Brazil, which is expensive, guys. It'd be like almost 100 reais if you're considering like popcorn and everything. It's expensive to go out. I'm not gonna go out to see like whoever the third version of Captain America or a Green Lantern is. Because I just don't know who that character is. You gotta warm me up to this. And I think that's sabotage. You know? Or even they do this a lot with the female characters. Like I'm not a Marvel reader, but I do listen to people that read Marvel. And a lot of people that read Marvel say Miss Marvel, I think that's her name, right? Or Captain Marvel is not the greatest character, not even in the comic books. She's that charismatic. But Marvel wants to push her. You got a lot of other female characters, guys, that you could have pushed, but you want to push this one. Without giving us a little bit of an intro, warming us up. And then you saw when they did do that in the Avengers movie, I actually kind of liked her. But her movie was horrible. Because you're just pushing this character and you don't know who is this. And she's not likable. And I don't know, guys. I think it seems like it's stuff that is basic. And if you read, any fan, I mean, yes, fans can go overboard. I agree. But a lot of fans, they're not insane. They're just kind of giving you common sense. You got to work characters in. You got to, or you just got to actually believe in them and not just throw it out there to the public and be like, yeah, now you just watch this and see if you like it or not. Like, I don't know. Disney for me has never felt genuinely concerned with having representation in their movies. They want to keep the status quo because it is a status quo company and they got to sell to the world. It is a huge company, guys. And there's movies by Disney that don't play in China. So what do you think Disney's going to do? Is Disney going to fight for your right to have Boyega on the cover of Star Wars posters? Or are they just going to edit him out and make another $200 million on top of the $800 million that they already made on this movie? What do you think they're going to do? Right? Is Disney going to actually have a movie with like a gay black man and his husband as protagonists raising their lovely young daughter? Or are they going to be like, never in a million years? We'd rather just save that, save that face plant, in the money that this movie's not going to make. Because one, we're not going to actually support it. Two, we're not going to, and that's another thing that Disney does. Like, we're not actually going to write a good story. We're just going to put this here just to kind of push this. And that's where, they get a lot of attacks from the right. Because, yeah, you're not giving me a solid story. Because even when you do see something like that, as a gay black person, you're like, that was weak, man. Like, that had nothing to do with my life. That's just basically a straight couple that happens to be gay, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. Disney, just do better, guys. Just do better. I've talked enough. I think you got the message. Yeah, we're at the 40-minute mark. That's enough of me talking. Guys, let me know what you think about the topic. Let me know if you think Phil's gone overboard. Let me know what you think of this style of show. And I hope to do more. Saturdays seems to be the day. This one I have recorded. I got to work up to doing these lives, guy. I want to do them live, but yeah, it's just a different style show, so I just got to get used to it. So this one's recorded, but hopefully we'll start having a few of them live on Saturday mornings. You probably around 10 or 11 or 12 at some point. And if I do have to go out or be somewhere in the evening or on Saturday, sometimes I work immersions Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings. I'll just pre-record it. Pre-record. That reminds me of George Carlin. What a stupid word. They will be recorded and then posted on Saturday morning. Guys, I'll talk to you later. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and go to Clubby Pop, the channel here, Eduardo's channel. He's got a lot of fun stuff on here. I just put out the Cafe Pop, But I'll show you a couple more of the videos we got in there. Look, 2,000 views on The Expanse, guys. I did finally watch The Expanse. Great show. We did something, not a lot of views on this one. We need more. It was really fun. Best series we've ever watched. We got some nice viewership on this one. The best in queer cinema. The Tori Amos album won. I have that on my page in English, but I did a Portuguese version first. Bet you didn't know that. We got some other shows that we watched, which include Breaking Bad. We do a lot of Drag Race talk, guys. I love talking about Drag Race with him. And the channel really gets all its viewership from Eduardo. He's over here like 3,000 views. I wish I could get this many views on my shorts. He's really good at it. 5,000, and he talks fashion. There's Sade, there's Julian Anderson, we got into, oh, there's me. See, look, I'm not popular. I got 87 views. He's the star of this channel over here. So, guys, go on there, subscribe. We would love to have you. And that's it for now. Bye. Till next time.